Absolutely. Some of my best friends are people I've worked with or just continue to work with.
Yeah.
You build a pretty good camaraderie when you're around people, especially like-minded people like
40 hours, 80 hours a week.
60, 70, for sure. I definitely, the majority of my close friends I've worked with.
Nice. Okay, so we can get back to get to know you. I was just curious about that.
That makes sense. Because you wonder, how big are these dispensary type families or businesses? So, how many locations does the clinic have?
4 or 5?
We have 4 retail locations.
Okay.
And we have 2 grows and we have a MIP. So there's 7 facilities total.
And about how many people?
There's a little over 100 people working for the clinic.
Yeah, in all kinds of different roles. Mm-hmm. So okay. Yeah, so it's just like any other business out there,
I feel you. All right, so we'll get back to the get to know you. I went on that random tangent. So Chris asked what's the last show you binged on Netflix. I'll ask, what's the last song you rocked out to? Maybe the one that got y'all jammed up for this episode of this podcast. What was the last song you listened to on Spotify?
I've been listening to a lot of Grateful Dead.
Nice.
Really going hard on the Dead.
It's the nice weather. When the sun comes out, you just want to hear the joyful music.
Yeah, it just makes you feel. You open the windows up, you crack the sunroof, and you're just living the Grateful Dead dream.
It does make you feel good.
Yeah, sunshine.
We played that big on, was that Saturday?
Sunday during the cookout?
Sunday was it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so what was the last song? Was it a little Scarlet in the Fire, a little China Cat?
Dire Wolf was the last song I heard, actually.
Okay, there we go. That's not a bad... It's not a bad one to get into. Okay.
Yeah. Do you control the music when you're at the clinic?
Yeah, who plays the music that's overheard?
It's usually whatever staff's on duty that day, and I think they try to take take turns. One budtender kind of does the morning shift, and then once they get sick of their music, another budtender takes over. And
oh man, I could get hairy down there.
It's kind of like the thermostat fighting in an office.
Exactly.
It's like I got here first. It's 62. And be like, motherfucker, it's cold. Put it on 70. Yeah. If I go in there at one time and I hear Slayer, I'm just going to turn around and walk out and be like, this is not the people I want to buy weed from. So if it's always
not the vibe I want, right?
Yeah. So if it's that Fish, Jammy, Grateful Dead, things of that nature. Hell, I mentioned Willie Nelson. A little Willie wouldn't mind.
Hey, it can't hurt.
No Disco Biscuits.
Yeah. If it's all jam and I don't have to smell or see the people that hang out with them, I'm kind of okay with it.
All right, I'm out of here.
Yeah. No, you actually smell great. You don't smell like mothballs despite the weekend shows. So you're groovy.
All right, so this is a good question. So what's the worst job you've ever had?
Worst job I ever had. I've like I said, I worked for the clinic for pretty much my entire adult life. After college, my worst job, it was probably the gas station. My first job. I take that back. I worked for my neighbor who owned a bar, and I washed dishes when I was 14. That was the worst job I ever had, except for the cook got me high every day. So it wasn't that bad.
Led you down this career path.
Exactly.
All right, that should be a great time to lead into our second question, which is, when was the first time you got high, and is it a funny story?
It wasn't really a funny story, other than the paranoia and all that. But I think
cops are coming.
I think I was 13. It was with my buddy Jeff, and I lived on a lake, so we were kind of down by the lake and in the woods, and definitely stayed there for a good 2 or 3 hours, not wanting to go anywhere and not wanting to see my parents. And
they're gonna know.
They're gonna smell it. We're fucked. We're so fucked, man.
I know we covered it up with cigarette smoke because that was somehow better.
Yeah.
I did that all the time because my parents knew I smoked cigarettes, so that was the mask. That and Axe body spray, and my dad would just be like, "Hey, I know you're smoking. Just don't spray Axe body spray on top of all of it." He's like, you just smell like a burnt turd. And it's like, please stop.
Why are your eyes always watering?
He would say I looked Jap-eyed when I came in, and I don't know if that's racist or not. If
Sounds a little racist.
We'll edit it out. But it was because I'd come in high and my eyes would be squinting, and so we may have to edit that out. Who knows?
That's all right.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. But see, I was that person. I remember we had some friends over and spent the night, and we snuck out to smoke. But I didn't get high the first time I smoked, which was one of those things I didn't know could happen. But people are like, sometimes you just don't really get high. And I got all riled up about us smoking a joint and then me getting high. And
nothing.
Smoked a joint. Yeah, and I was like, well, fuck, this is fucking terrible. Now I'm going to get in trouble, and I'm not even going to
get to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll never try it again. But that's not the way it turned out. Next time, I got super high the next day.
Prove it.
which was great. First high being during the daytime was just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone worst job. We've gone first time you got in high. Let's do another throwback. What's the next throwback we got on there from Get to Know Yous?
Oh, high school celebrity crush.
This is a new question.
High school celebrity crush.
Who are you jerking it to growing up? Was it Kelly?
thinking
It was
about.
a Party of Five. Party of Five,
Hell
because
yeah.
that was such a good show.
Yes.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Solid.
She had cannons really early on in the game.
Dude, she got a big following, like after I Know What You Did Last Summer or whatever, that whole series. I remember some of my friends were big into.
Can't Hardly Wait was the
That
big
was the
one.
big one.
And then she did the movie where the kid locks his parents in the basement. House Arrest with Gunther.
I know what you're talking about. I can't really remember.
She was like
Yeah.
the depressed daughter. Her mom was Jennifer Tilly, and her mom wanted to, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that gets people honest, about what they were watching back in the day.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get. People are gonna be like, "Holy shit, I used to gurk it to that girl too."
Melrose Place was fantastic.
Play with my pud. And then, do you have a current celebrity crush that the world needs to know about?
Current celebrity crush. It's probably Trey.
There's a lot of dudes like shout out to our friends at Lot Gossip that are gay for Trey. So that's no surprise there. It's no surprise at all. Chris, since this is a new question, I'm going to ask you: high school celebrity crush?
High school celebrity crush. Oh shit. I don't know. I guess maybe Cindy Crawford.
It's a good one.
Between Cindy Crawford and Kelly Kapowski.
Kelly
obviously.
Kapowski.
Kelly Kapowski.
Kelly
You gotta love
played
Saved by
really
the
well.
Bell.
It was only Cindy Crawford because I happened to find when she was in Playboy, I happened to find that issue at my granddad's house one summer, and I took that home with me.
Grandfather's playing with his pud to Cindy Crawford. That's not a bad one.
That was back when the magazines were a huge hit back in the day. But I mean, like
Pre-internet.
week to week, it was Kelly Kapowski.
There you go. And I want to give a shout out to our girl Pamela Anderson from Baywatch. In fact, that
There you
whole
go.
team from Baywatch can get it. They can all get it. So that's going to be a fun question we're going to continue to ask guests from here on out. And if you have any other great questions, don't be shy to go shoot us a DM on Instagram at NoVacancyCO. Don't be shy to go give us a review on the iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify, Stitcher. They all do it. And let us know, what celebrity crush, and if you have any other questions that we need to ask. We're not out of the get to know you phase though, so let's go with the next question. I think that's going to be the spiciest thing you've eaten. These usually lead to funny stories as well.
I'm a Jewish guy, so my stomach is very Jewish. So spice doesn't really do well for me. I get mild pretty much everywhere I go.
So you and the Thai food.
Yeah, me and Thai food, we like each other.
Just the bland.
mild.
Yeah.
The American version.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. So we'll leave you on the mild setting. We won't make you throw it into hot, but
Please don't.
All right, Kristen, you get to do the last get to know you before we dive into our Denver favorites.
Okay. Ever been arrested? Or
Funniest arrest story.
yes. We're not talking felonies
Funniest
here.
arrest story. Yeah.
Or felonies that aren't, like still pending. If your jury's out.
Current legal battles.
You don't have to worry about
Thankfully,
it.
no current legal battles. It's been a while.
Everyone knock on wood.
Thankfully, back when I lived in New York, they had decriminalized cannabis. So I did get arrested once with a bag in my pocket, but it was just a slap on the wrist and a $100 fine. So that was nice to not really.
Damn,
have to,
18, 20 years ago they were that nice?
Yeah.
Classic Rudy.
Why don't they do that now though? Like, just think about how much people could pick up if they just find kids walking out of high school. You got a bag on you. Here's $100. You're good.
Wait, are you saying just like give them basic tickets out?
Yeah.
I think they do that in most places. Shout out to not Indiana. Like most states have decriminalized marijuana for the most part.
Do you think
I
if
don't know
we're
most,
rolling?
but a lot have. Yeah.
Do you think if we're rolling around Alabama, get pulled over, and we've got a bag in our pocket, they're going to be like, "Sir, I'm
You're a
gonna take
white
this."
male without a baby in your stomach. You're probably safe in Alabama. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Mississippi has decriminalized it, so that is some states have made positive strides. But I was surprised that you said New York even 20 years ago.
Yep.
That's pretty nice. This is going to be a spin-off question. I knew this was coming. If somebody in your industry, and we're trying to help out those millennials that are moving here and that want to get in the game, if they have outdated charges or things like that? Do you have to be squeaky clean? You
don't have to be squeaky clean. You just have to tell them everything.
Just be forefront.
Yeah, you have. You have to get the deposition from the court and explain exactly what happened, and just be as honest as you can. I know people who have Fs on their record that have badges and have gotten into the industry. It's just a matter of how long ago it was and
what
being honest about it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Chris, you're still good despite all those touching dogs. That's a felony in Colorado.
I mean, and lucky for me, dispensaries can't be near schools anyways.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Subtle joke. That was good. I liked it. That was a knee slapper. Well, Zach, we appreciate you kind of opening it up. You're a nice little book. And so while we have gotten to know a little bit about you, we want to know some of the favorite places you've been around town.
Sure.
Being here for fucking ever, it seems like. You probably have some good inside knowledge. So we're going to start asking you some of the really hard-hitting questions here on No Vacancy Colorado. But before we do that, we want to give a shout-out to our friends over at the Fillmore. The Fillmore has been pumping out beautiful tunes all month long here in May. And as we ramp up for June, the lineup doesn't stop. So don't be shy. Go over there. Follow them online at Fillmore Den and at Live Nation CO for all up-to-date concert drops, ticket giveaway, swag bags, everything under the sun. And then go over to livenation.com. Buy all your tickets you may need for the Fillmore. But without further ado, we're getting into our Denver hotspots.
So just going to the Fillmore real quick. Yeah. Why don't they give out apples anymore? You should tell them to give out apples. They used to have a basket of apples at the front door that you could take on your way in or out.
What?
If you were a little too high or a little too, whatever it was.
Right.
You could get an apple.
A little nutrition.
Yeah.
Damn, I'd never been to a Fillmore show where I had been offered an apple.
Yeah, it must have been probably 2002, 2003, right when they first opened. Maybe, like I said, 2004 they opened or something like that. Anyway, it was right back in the beginning. But it was a great thing. It was a great thing. So sorry to sidetrack, but
No, you did. That was fantastic.
We sidetrack all the damn time.
Yeah, tangents are one of our better things.
The biscuits were at Ogden this past week, right?
Yep. Yeah, a couple nights at the Ogden and up at Red Rocks.
So did you go to the Ogden and Red Rocks?
Yep. I never miss a 3-day run or a 4-day run or a 5-day run.
Jesus Christ, really? I can't do a 3 or 4 day run anymore. My body gives out.
Oh, I'm dead by the end of it. But
Okay.
I'm willing to do it for the love of music, no matter what band it is.
Well, there you go. Dedication.
Unless it's Panic.
Really?
I knew that would get you guys.
I was like, damn, dude. That's a fun 3-day Red Rocks run.
Like that was one of my intro bands, but by no means have I been to a 3-day Panic show in a long time.
And the last time I did a 3-day run was Panic Red Rocks, but it was back a couple of years ago when I could also do, the 3-day Dick's run, right? A month or two after. But I don't think I've been able to do 3, much less 2 in a long time, unless it's just drinking wine, which if I could keep myself to just drinking wine, then life would be easier.
Yeah,
but
they're
crippling hangovers nowadays, especially after some of those bands and shows. It's just like, can't keep my fingers to myself.
You go to the after party and
and then the next thing you know, it's Tuesday and you're supposed to be at work on Monday and your dog's gone and your daughter's pregnant.
Seen it a million times.
Tommy Boy, 4th movie. Thank you.
All right.
all such good movies too, like literally my favorites.
Yeah. That's what we try to keep our guests happy. So moving in.
Don't be yours again. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's something about I don't know.
Is it my cord?
There you go. It's back.
So moving into Denver hotspots, when you and some of your coworkers or your girlfriend / wife, I guess, when y'all get the itch to go to a happy hour or something, where are you all going?
I love Joyride Brewery over Sloan's Lake area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just put that patio up top.
Nice.
It's amazing. They have great beer over there, great view, and it's just a good place to be. You can bring your dog. Just a good time.
Is that on that main street, like behind
Sheridan
Sloan's?
and Harlan, I think or is it actually 25th?
25th.
Yeah, it is. And they just they have the Kolsch that thing fucks. That Kolsch is delicious.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a great call. And with that new patio, they opened it up I guess they've been working on that for a couple of years, like getting the permits and whatnot. And it's going to be prime location for.
Yeah, they open it right in time for summer. They're gonna kill it.
And like you mentioned, you could walk the dog and then walk over there and grab a cocktail. It's talent rich over in that area as well. So that's a good find. I like it. Chris, what's the next question?
Let's say best meal you've had in Denver. Let's say in the past 6 months.
Past 6 months, Root Down. I had an amazing meal at. Actually, I had a couple amazing meals. I've kind of been hooked on that place recently. I think we've gone 3 or 4 times in the last 6 months.
It's funny. I fall into that sometimes too. Like I go to